Eventually, at some point in life, all hell breaks loose. And if you live long enough, things will start coming against you from all angles. Somebody in your family is gonna die. Somebody you know is gonna get fired. You may get fired. Somebody's gonna get evicted. Somebody's business is gonna close. Somebody you love is gonna break up with you. That is life. But what are you gonna do about it? There are things deep down in you that you haven't even discovered yet. Your wisdom, your knowledge is gonna be made from the elixir of your pain. You don't even know what you have until all hell breaks loose and the pioneer, the beast, comes out. You don't know what you can even take until the pressure is applied. And don't fold under that pressure. That's how diamonds are made. You don't even know what you can endure until people stab you in the back and then walk away from you. You don't even know how much courage you have until you ignite the fire up under you and you make it through the trials and tribulations. Because you can't learn what's in you sitting back in the lazy chair watching Netflix and chilling. Watching HBO, your sporting events, your TikToks. But when all hell breaks loose, when you say, I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this. I don't want any more of this nonsense, this pain. This is driving me insane. I just want to reach higher. Because moving forward and moving up means more problems. And you don't want that, do you? You want to be lazy, right? Because right now you're being tried. You're being forged in the fire. You're being tested. And you're being tested by pain. And if you don't let it break you and don't let it destroy you, then it will make you. If you don't let it beat you down, and if you refuse to be intimidated, then you'll be able to manage stress on a higher level. And doors swing wide open for you. Heads turn when you walk in the room. In the Chinese language, crisis means danger, but it also means opportunity. Never let a good crisis go to waste. You're either going to be emotional or rational. You will lose the fight if you get too angry, too distracted, too emotional, because you're not rational. So you got to decide you're going to be in control. Be creative. Be the architect of your own reality, that you're going to do what you want to do. But you can never give in. See, that's mind control. You got to wake up knowing you got to say so in your life. You have a choice in this reality, this matrix. You can't stop what happened to you, but you can damn sure do something about it. You can make something of it. Life is 90% of what you do about it, what you make of it. The most powerful tune that you have right now is being you and using your mind. That's why the enemy fights you with information, with stress, with worry, with aggravation, with fear, with pettiness, with anger, with hostility, with diversion. To the point it can make you physically sick because your mind is sick, because you no longer have mind control. So you got to get your mind out of trouble, and you can have blessings. You can have miracles, opportunities. Yeah, there are going to be struggles. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be tests. But even the struggles and tests and everything else is opportunities for you to show off when you win. For you to show off your victory. If your mind can handle the change and prove you've got what it takes. You may not like what you're going through. You may be stressed and overwhelmed. You may not be comfortable with your current situation. But stop the next devil that tries to tell you you don't have what it takes to succeed, to win, to be a chosen one, a pioneer. I may have some black eyes or some bruise. I may have lost some teeth, some broken bones. But nothing can stop me from being free, from having a free dome. See, because what you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset. And what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. And I've always just wanted mine to be guideful, helpful, and nurturing to others. So I'm sending you all much love and high vibrations as we get ready to kick off another very special episode of the Daily Candle Close News. As we talk about in this episode, specifically more than anything, the death around Queen Elizabeth II, something we have predictably, preemptively, subliminally programmed into the minds of our pioneers here for the entire year this year. We knew that the news would come out and tell us sometime this year, specifically before the end of the Jewish Hebrew year, which ends at the end of this month in the Gregorian calendar of September. So very important that we see this now as we approach the end of the Shemitah. They tell us that Queen Elizabeth died at 96 years old. And Queen Elizabeth II gives us 96 in Chaldean. Something very, very important that we'll be talking about is Gematria, an ancient text that gives us the numerological value of a text, word, phrase, or name. So we know we use it here on the Daily Candle Close News, and it's ancient, been used in the Hebrew culture for thousands of years. So royals, people who are very popular in this matrix, when something happens to them, it affects us. And why does it affect us? Well, because we allow it to affect us. We allow it to harvest our energy, our Merkaba, our life force, our prana. Something we talk about here on the Daily Candle Close News is don't let someone else siphon your gas. Make your gas more expensive than anything out here in this world. Gas right now is still roughly over $3 a gallon in most places, some places still over $5. You know how much my gas is, my energy, my Merkaba, my prana, my life force? It's priceless. You couldn't afford my gas. So we have this ability to get lost in the distractions around these people like the Kardashians and the royals and Donald Trump, etc., instead of figuring out the champion that lies within us, the I am that I am, something that we try to enlighten you to discover, your higher self, your purpose. And it's because many people are not internalizing their power that they're going to get distracted by this latest news that we've been able to remind you and predict you to see all year long. So, we have to realize that we are worthy. Many human beings have placed people on a pedestal above themselves. And this is the reason why the world is in the state it's in. False idols. False idols. And that's why I say you should be going on a journey within. Being a sovereign nation within yourself. Being a king or a queen within inside yourself. Not externalizing your power. This is how you free yourself from the game and the trap of the matrix we are in. You're gods and goddesses with amnesia. You're the ones that should be celebrated and worshipped. You're the true superstars of this world. And it's time to wake up. So shout out to everyone out here that's following us here on the Daily Candle Close News. If you like what you're seeing, hit the like button, send it, share it with your family, get the word out, enlighten others to open their mind. Be free of all the nonsense that we see. When a queen bee dies, what happens? What happens? The colony loses control and the rest find it hard to go on. So we don't want to underestimate the power of a queen, right? The queen in this matrix is extremely powerful. She has major influence on people. She's inspired people, etc. Some people don't like the queen, say she's a reptilian. All I'm wanting you to do is see the bigger picture here today with this episode and remind yourself that you're the queen, ladies. You're the king, gentlemen. You're player one of your own reality, the architect of this matrix and reality. You know? The peculiar thing about human beings though, they love separation and distraction, division. But what if we are all the same? Can you imagine a world where there was no higher social hierarchy? You know, everybody bleeds red. Nobody leaves here alive. You can't take nothing with you. It's all the same. You know what happened though? When someone passes away, it reminds you of your own mortality. You know, and that brings out fear, etc. and other. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can be a billionaire, etc. But when you leave here, you ain't got it. You know, you ain't gonna be the richest man in the grave. You know, life is short in this human experience, in this matrix, in this vessel of life, like a rental car we have. You know, the universe ultimately decides our fate. And I'm gonna show you why it's always by the numbers. You must take this as an example to really remind yourself to live your best life every single day. Live out of love, abundance, and gratitude. And also remind yourself to celebrate people who are the real kings and queens. You, yourself, your family, your loved ones, your co-workers, the people in your life. There are chosen ones, light workers out there doing the work, and I salute you. And I live my life every day out here in the matrix, trying to raise the frequency and raise the vibration. Because we got to remind ourselves that any and everyone we come in contact with could be a king or a queen. And they are. A god or a goddess with amnesia. They just might not even remember it. We are the kings and we are the queens, you guys. We are the real celebrities. Nothing is what it seems in this matrix, and the truth is stranger than the fiction. And when you remind yourself that what you see is on the surface not quite what it is underneath, you can always find a deeper truth. You can always unlock something deeper than what you see on the surface. Remember, these two eyes on the side, they lie. You gotta look at everything with a third eye. Your Ajna chakra, your sixth chakra. Don't believe it. Don't believe anything you read and everything you read, or anything you see and everything you see. The most important thing right now is making sure you are free, having a free dawn. Learning discernment, the ability to judge well, making sure you're focusing on yourself, and making sure you see yourself as a king and queen and setting yourself back on the throne. So again, kick back, relax, grab your favorite drink, your favorite snack, light up your favorite strand as we get ready to continue to kick off this video that is going to blow your mind and kick your socks off. And, you know, we know there's huge energy shifts this year, this very specific year. You know, so many energy shifts we've seen happening all around the world, especially this latest one right here, right now. And this is something we've talked about since February, preparing you all for. Basically 8 months, you guys. And a lot of people are living in a dream world, a reality world. And it's just the reason why they don't recognize this and they don't have a clue about what is coming. And they're going to be in for a rude awakening when these other events start to happen. You know, the coming surprises that we're going to talk about. You know, it's going to be truly amazing to watch with a third eye open, knowing in advance, preparing for the next events to come. What happens when the queen is off the board? Symbolically speaking, when the queen is off the board, the most powerful piece, sometimes the game is over. Sometimes when she's off the board, the game is over in chess. It means something's going to happen when she leaves the board. You know, remind yourself you don't want to fall asleep right now. You want to become your own king and queen. Become your own architect of your own reality. And if you're here watching this right now, you're a king, you're a queen, and you're still here. You are the I am that I am. And you don't want to externalize your power to this nonsense or anything else. Live your life, get out there, connect with Mother Nature and Gaia today. Don't fear. Don't waste your energy, your macabre to this. Know your worth. Stop acting small. Speak your truth. Biggest thing to remind us right now about is there's nothing to be afraid. You know, you're always protected. Don't be afraid of some external boogeyman or wait on some external savior to come save you. Neither. You know, be the Messiah. And you can only lose fear when you do that and let go of everything you're afraid to lose. And you can only lose fear when you let go of everything you're afraid to lose. And I know a lot of people are afraid to lose everything. They got kids and etc. But this is the way of the Supreme Being. The one that realizes I own nothing. Not even my body. It's on loan, a rental vessel. Everything goes back to Earth, Mother Nature, Gaia, Maya. When you remind yourself of this, you are the child of the son of Mother Nature. You're not better than them. You're not bigger than them. The sun, Mother Nature, will humble your ass in a minute if you do. You know? So, let's kick this off, you guys. Like I said, we use numerology and gematria to explain the events that we see on our broken compass news that's designed to keep us lost, distracted, broken, and confused. And like I stated just a minute ago, Queen Elizabeth II, she was recently, announced dead at 96 years old. When we type this out with gematria and Chaldean, we get the purest cipher showing us this 96. And I thought that was pretty amazing because it also gives us this 108, which we know, studying the meaning behind numbers, we know 108 means Harshad, or referring to the spiritual completion number, okay? This is in other Buddhist cultures, etc. They, the temples have 108 steps representing the 108 steps to enlightenment and ascension. In Japan, the Zen Buddhist temples, the bell is chimed 108 times at the end of the year, closing a cycle to serve as a reminder of the 108 earthly temptations a person must overcome to achieve nirvana, a state of absolute nothingness. So again, very powerful, this Harshad meaning joy giver, etc. The queen was symbolized as a joy giver to this matrix and realm. And again, Queen Elizabeth II gave us 108, the spiritual number of completion. And I found it even more interesting. When we connect this to December and Christmas this year, using the Gregorian calendar, using the date that the news told us she died on yesterday, well, we get a span of 108 days away. Very, very powerful. We know that's really 15 weeks, and we'll break this 15 number down deeper as we go. Yesterday was a day that added up to 59, and we know this year we're in the year of the tiger, 59. Also, that 15, it was a span of 15 weeks till Christmas, so very, very interesting. Queen Elizabeth gave us 108, the second gave us 108, it was 108 days till Christmas. Yesterday was the day that added up to 59. This is the year of the tiger in the Chinese New Year that started February 1st, right before we saw the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in February take place. Just a few days later. So very, very powerful. Just the connections that we've been able to share with you all year long. Undeniable as to why we see her die during the 36th week of the year on a day that added up to 59 in numerology. This 15, we know she ruled over 15 Commonwealth realms. So very, very important. She died exactly 366 days after the start of Rosh Hashanah last year, which was the start of the Shemitah year, and we are fixing to end this year. This is the sabbatical year, the Sabbath year. It has everything to do with the harvest, and Saturn, the god Kronos, Odin, who holds the scythe, the god of the harvest. Very, very powerful. Something we've been preemptively programming you for was, where did she die? When did she die? Right before the September full harvest moon. You cannot make this up. So as to why we're seeing this, I'm going to continue to share with you why we see this news when we see it. Okay? So going back to this right here, we know she died exactly 366 days after the start of Rosh Hashanah last year and the start of the Shemitah. We are right now in the 36th week of the year. Okay, that's tying us into Jupiter, the tiger stripe planet, giving us that 36. Today is 9/9 when we're making this video, and the entire world is hearing about the news. So very important. We know we're in the year of Jupiter, the tiger stripe planet. Okay, and this year has everything to do with the battle of Jupiter and Saturn. Remember, Jupiter overthrew his father Kronos, Saturn, and became dominant, the king, our imminent overlord in this matrix reality and realm. By the mythologies, we are taught this. So very important. This 36, she died in the 36th week of the year. She died exactly 366 days after the start of Rosh Hashanah. 3 plus 6 plus 6 is 15. We're in the year of the tiger, 15. So very important. This 36 ties us into God's code that we are using right here. She just ascended. We'll pay attention to that in a minute. The 144,000 chosen. This 36 we get in God's code, tying us into Jupiter. We are all carbon man, giving us that same 36. We have 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons that make up every atom in every cell of our body. So very, very important. And we know that Queen Elizabeth was known as a monarch, giving us that same 36. So very important. This 117 tying us into Bitcoin. Well, why did we see Bitcoin fall from our horizontal trading range right down to this 187, this $18,700 range right around the time that the Queen died? Well, of course, it's pre-programmed into an algorithmic code. Not surprising that this ended up being our bear trap that we've recently been preparing our pioneers for here on the Daily Candle Close News, because we could not get back above this 1993 horizontal trading range until after we get this news. So very, very important, undeniable. So let's continue on. Queen Elizabeth II gave us 96. That is the mirror of Queen Elizabeth that gave us 69 in numerology as well. We're in the year of the tiger. She ruled over 15 Commonwealth realms, all giving us the 15. In the rules of numerology and gematria, you would drop the 0 because it has no value. 15. So very, very important. Undeniable right here. So pay attention, pause the screen, and look at the connections. We'll be briefly going back over them later. But Queen Elizabeth gave us the 69. We go over cryptocurrency, and we know we're in the Shemitah year. Bitcoin hit a 69K top and didn't go a penny over during the Shemitah year, and has been in an 8+ month downtrend ever since. Just recently breaking back above a trend line that dates all the way back to C19 and our previous Shemitah year as well. So undeniable that we hit this trend line, fall below in like a V-like structure, and are bought right back up during this time period. We'll discuss that later in a more in-depth cryptocurrency analysis video. This is more again based on the Queen. We know she just died around the harvest moon, you guys. Undeniable, giving us that same 150 that we get in Queen Elizabeth, or the 15 we get in Tiger. This 1551, as above, so below, so within, so without. Undeniable, irrefutable why we see this now. This 51 again we get in Moon, which comes on tomorrow. The next full moon is September 10th. So very important. Harvest Moon giving us that 150. So this 96-69 connection is again as above, so below. It is so within, so without. The yin and yang, black and white. It is balance, okay? And that is very important because it's tying us into Lucifer morning star. the light bringer, okay, giving us that same 96. We see she died at 96 years old in the 2022 year. Irrefutable right here, okay. We also know this is symbolic to Moloch that we hear about, giving us that same 66 we got in Queen Elizabeth, and that same 96 we got in Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, it's also tying us into Anubis, giving us that same 66 and 96. We're in the Shemitah year. Shemitah gives us 18. Undeniable. She was in her Platinum Jubilee, which is her 70th year of reign. So irrefutable that we see this, and we see this 70. They just recently flew planes over England in, the shape of 70. So not surprising that we saw this. But we're in the Shemitah year. Anubis, as I was just talking about though, is, also known as Impu, but it is the god of death, okay? So known in the ancient Egyptian culture, that's what this 96 represents, okay? So very, very important that we pay attention to this and why we're seeing it when we see it. So let's continue to see where we are at. Harvest gives us that same 96 as well, and where tomorrow is the harvest moon. In the Shemitah year, this 93 we get in harvest has everything to do with Saturn, Father Time, Chronos. Very, very irrefutable and undeniable. Ascension. If we have not shared that, it is what is happening here. Something I've told you all dating back to February is we are watching the ascension of Queen Elizabeth, giving us that same 36. I'm not sure if it's down here, but I want to make sure it goes down here if we haven't mentioned it. God's code, giving us that 144 and that 36. Ascension, giving us that 144 and this 36. So it's down here now. Very important. We know that she was also born in Mayfair, London, is what they tell us. So irrefutable, we get the same 66 that we got in Queen Elizabeth, as well as this 69. This 204, we're in the year of Jupiter. The 2 and the 4 is Jupiter's zodiac logo, the year that she died. So this 24, this 2-4 connection is going to be very important to pay attention to in this decode as well. Drop the 0 in the rules of numerology, it has no value. We are in the Jewish Hebrew New Year of the sabbatical year, the 7-year cycle. 49 is the square root of 7. 7 times 7 is 49, so very important. Mayfair, London, tying us in here this year, why we see her pass away during the Shemitah. This 147 we got as well when we looked at the harvest moon. So very important. We're going to make multiple connections to this 147 as well. Just reiterating some numbers that we've spoken about and are going to continue to bring up. Yesterday was the day that she died on, or the date that she died on was yesterday, and it was Thursday. Today is Friday, Freya Day, the day of Venus. But yesterday was Thursday, the day of Jupiter. So again, tying us into this Jupiter logo, this 2 and this 4 right here. Very, very irrefutable and undeniable. She died right before the harvest moon, giving us this 147 and harvest moon as well. We talked about that. Boom. Full harvest moon. Let's bring that up, because that's what this will be. And it's in the Shemitah. It has everything to do with the harvest. Saturn, Chronos, Odin. And that full harvest moon is giving us that 204. That's 66 as well. Anyone who knows, there's that 69. Queen Elizabeth gave us 69, the mirror of 96 when she died. Anyone that knows the true meaning of September, or the true meaning of septum in the Latin term, they know it's 7. The true Gregorian calendar right here, 9 is a lie. Today is released 7/9. She died yesterday at 7/8, right before the full harvest moon. So very important. This 201 dropped to 0. It gives us 21, the same 21 we got in Saturn, which has everything to do with the harvest and, Father Time, Chronos. So very important. The Shemitah. The Shemitah has everything to do with Saturn. We know not only was she born in Mayfair, London, and that's tying us in here, but she was also born to the name of Princess Elizabeth of York, giving us this 119 connection. Very important. That's the mirror of 9/11 coming up in just a few days. That 119, 9/11, we know that ties us into September 11th, something we've recently brought up, as well as the Eye of Providence, the all-seeing eye. We know all-seeing eye gives us that same (119). So very important that we're seeing this, just making connections right here. She died exactly 911 days after the pandemic was declared. So if you go back from yesterday all the way back to the start of C-19, and when they shut the world down on March 11th, it was exactly 911 days. So Princess Elizabeth of York gives us 119, tying us into the all-seeing eye, which ultimately ties us into the mother board that we live on, the matrix reality realm that we live on. So very important. And now they're saying that her funeral will be set for September 18th, which is 7 days in the 7-year sabbatical cycle. Pay attention to the sevens in this video, after 9/11 this year. So irrefutable, undeniable, and this 911-day connection to when the pandemic was declared shows me why we're starting to see kind of China shut down by over 65 million now, why artists and entertainers are shutting down and canceling shows by the dozens. Like, I'm seeing this bringing up a ramp up in the next event, and something coming very, very soon. So very important. She died, we know, this is her last birthday, or her first birthday. We know she was 96 years old. If you go to her last birthday, which was April 21st, it was 140-day span basically, and we know that's going to tie us into when we type out Queen of England. So irrefutable why we're seeing this again when we see it, giving us that same 140. You guys, I can't make this up. Like, I'm not the one doing this. See where else we want to go. We've got a ton of other connections. Going back to this 96 for a minute, I know a lot of people are gonna want to scream the Freemasons are behind this. Okay, Freemason gives us the 96. They're gonna want to scream the Freemasons are behind this. Irrefutable. That same 147 we were talking about. And they're going to say, it's the 33 degrees, which is actually what is happening. Giving us that same 96. She did ascend. We saw her ascend to her 7th chakra in the Ascension state. Her crown chakra. Crown has everything to do with corona, and why we saw C19, etc. And I'll break this down even more. When we type out crown, we get the 62. She's highly tied to this 2/6 date, February 6th, the 62. Okay, when written internationally. So irrefutable that we see this. crown, tying us into Corona, giving us that same 96 connection. Okay, this is, the 33 we get in Corona. It's all about the transmutation state, the death state. The 13th card in the tarot deck, it literally tells us that it is the transmutation card. Okay, we know this, it symbolizes death of oneself and birth of the spirit self, etc. So irrefutable, what's happening here is a ascension. Okay, so very important. Let's look more at the date when she died yesterday. 9/8/2022. It added up to 59. It was a day that left 114 days left in the year. Well, that ties us straight into every one of us human beings that has a DNA, a deoxyribonucleic acid. So irrefutable, undeniable. When you type out deoxyribonucleic acid, you get the 114. The day she, died on, a day leaving 114 days left in the year. That's 69 as well. Irrefutable. As above, so below. She gave us the 69 in Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth II gave us the 96. So, irrefutable, you guys, as to why we see this when we see it. Again, she was in her Platinum Jubilee, her 70th year of reign. We're in the Shemitah year. Shemitah gives us 70 as well. Undeniable. This is where it even gets more interesting. She passed 77 years and 7 days after the end of World War II. So 9/2/1945 to yesterday was 77 years and 7 days. So 777. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21, tying us back into Saturn in the Shemitah year we are in. Yesterday, she died on Virgin Mary's birthday. So we know this is, what month are we in, you guys? We're in Virgo. And I did a special episode of this month. Virgo, the Virgin Mary, the maiden. So not surprising that we're seeing the death of the Queen during the month of Virgo. So Virgo, the Virgin, giving us that same 7/8. We know she really died on yesterday's 7/8. This 147 we were talking about, the 66 that ties us into Queen Elizabeth, that same 150 that we got in Queen Elizabeth. So irrefutable. Yesterday when she died at 96 years old, they tell us, go and research how full the moon was before tomorrow's full moon. It was 96% full. Like, you cannot make this stuff up. What this is symbolizing, you guys, is that we are entering a new era. Irrefutable, undeniable. Okay, here in this matrix reality we are in. And what we are getting ready to witness is a dark winter. Okay? That same 147, the same 66 we've been talking about tonight. And I'm preparing my pioneers for this in advance and have been for multiple years. So, undeniable. We know when we type out Queen, we get that same 22 and that same 62. We know she had a lot to do with this 2662 date. Just look at her inauguration date. When she was crowned and started her reign, it was on February 6th or 2662. So very important. Queen giving us that 62-26 connection, but she dies in the 2022 year, they tell us. So irrefutable. We were talking a lot about the 36 number, and I thought it was pretty interesting when we look at London. I had it pulled up. Its elevation is 36 feet. Irrefutable that we keep getting this 36 connection, and London sits, at an elevation of 36 feet. I just thought that was irrefutable, undeniable. But something I've also been preparing my pioneers for is, the mark of the beast and the Antichrist. And even before we saw the Golden State Warriors win, that I prepared my pioneers for, the blue and yellow scheme that we watched play out in multiple, championship winners like Golden State Warriors or Kansas with the blue and yellow. We saw the LA Rams win. But this is all getting us ready for the Golden Gate Bridge that we will see an event around, giving us that same 96 and that 93. 93 tying us into Saturn and the Shemitah year we are in. And we obviously will definitely need to continue to pay attention to the New York Stock Exchange. You guys, that same 93 and 96 connection. So irrefutable, undeniable. I can't make this stuff up, you guys. Back to yesterday, her dying on the Virgin Mary's birthday. We know Virgin Mary gives us that same 62-26 connection that we were bringing up to the Queen. So why did she die yesterday on the Virgin Mary's birthday? Or at least they tell us she could have been dead for a while. Really, not to go too deep in this Red Pill podcast, but we do know they have the ability to transfer her consciousness while they ritualize her body and then lay it to rest and then harvest your energy through the news, etc. But I won't get too deep into that, and I like to short circuit blow people's brains sometimes, but we do know this technology is out there. What this really has been is clearly a ritual, you guys, giving us 81, the mirror of 18 we were getting in Save 108 when we dropped to 0. Queen Elizabeth II, we would get 18. She died in the Shemitah year, tying us into Anubis, the god of death. Irrefutable. It's all a ritual. And to shed light on this, in one of my last cryptocurrency episodes, we talked about the 36th week of the year, tying us into Azrael, which is, well, we'll go ahead and look it up. Azrael, which is the angel of death. So, I was even preparing my pioneers in the last video of how we could see this go even lower towards this 181 range during the 36th week of the year to symbolize, like a death in structure of cryptocurrency because of Azrael, the angel, of death. In the 36th week of the year, when you type out Azrael, you get the 36 and 63 connection. We're coming up on the next moon, which is tomorrow, transitioning out of today, which is 9/9 in the calendar they tell us about. At the time I did this video, Bitcoin was at 19K. So just all very esoteric, you guys. Again, I am an 8 of Wands birth card. Go and do your research on the 8 of Wands. That's why I'm able to, some would say, see the future. You can go and, read the meanings of that sometime. Decode yourself, figure out who you are. But some would say I'm very prophetic. I'm just able to pay attention and use discernment with the ability to judge well with the information in this information warfare we are in. And that's exactly what's going on in the Matrix reality right now. There's too much information and data out there. And we've got to be able to decipher it and, create and elaborate our truths from there. So let's continue on this decode around, this latest energy harvesting ritual. Ultimately, this is going to tie us into, the Omega, you guys. The only way that this code is working, and why we see things happen to an exact code like I've been sharing with you all. It's tying us into the Omega, or the Alpha Omega, giving us that 33. That transmutation state when water unfreezes, or most people have a 33 vertebrae, or 32 vertebrae, 33 representing the pineal gland, or aka the Kundalini serpent's head. So very important. Jesus, he prophesied for 33 years, something we share with you all as well. So We know yesterday when she died, it was 18 days before the start of the next Rosh Hashanah, which is something we discuss here in the Jewish Hebrew New Year, and very important, being a span of 2 weeks, 4 days, giving us that Jupiter logo, giving us a day that added up to 59, tying us into the tiger or the Jupiter year. This 23, the 2 threes, we can symbolize that as the 2 threes, is very, very powerful. Again, we talked about it being the 114th day of the year and why that was significant. But it's all during the Shemitah year, the 7-year sabbatical cycle, tying us into a day that adds up to 77 in numerology. We know Shemitah equals 18. So, irrefutable, undeniable as to why we see this. Again, Queen Elizabeth II gave us 108, dropped to 0. That was 108 being the spiritual number of completion. So, man, she was exactly 70 years and 7 months into her reign. So, giving us another 77 connection in the 7-year sabbatical cycle. So, I mean, I can't make that up, you know what I'm saying? Her Platinum Jubilee was all about her 70th year, and it gave us this color purple, you know, that's the color of Ascension. It ties us into, like I showed you earlier, your Master Power Center. No, chakras, right here, that color purple, Ascension. That's what we are witnessing right here. I know a lot of you are going to continue to say this is nonsense and I'm just spinning conspiracy, because, you know, you get this 147 right here a couple of times today and you're gonna, you know, it's just conspiracy. Just conspiracy, John. You're nonsense, you know, whatever. You know, it's actually, well, knowledge. But hey, what the fuck do I know? 96, you know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here trying to show you that here is wisdom. You know, you just gotta have to perceive it with a third eye view. You know, we know Queen Elizabeth gave us that 55, tying us into God, right? 55, tying us into Satan. 55, tying us into Saturn, the god of all gods, the god of 1,000 names, the timekeeper, Kronos, Odin, giving us that same 55, you know, tying us into destination, you guys, irrefutable, same 55, that same 70 we've been getting, this 83, the mirror of 38, we get in Shemitah, okay? Why did she die this year? And why was I able to tell you 8-9 months in advance we would see it? Because I've read the playbook, you guys. You know, I know about the chakras. Irrefutable. We're in the year of the sacred feminine, giving us that 71, you know. Irrefutable. This 253 is the 22nd triangular number, and we saw her die this year. Queen equals 22, you know. This 1771 connection is important because it's always tying us into Zeus. You just got to be able to use and unlock your chakras, you guys, you know, giving us that same 17, you know, irrefutable. But going back to that 55 for a minute, it was important this year because not only did Queen Elizabeth give us that 55, but she also had her Platinum Jubilee this year, and which is why we're about to see a biblical Jubilee play out. Financial, you know, debt reset, you know, central bank digital currencies, you know, the big old shebang, just like 1971 all over again, something we've been preparing you all for quite some time here, almost 3 years now on the Daily Candle Close News. So I just wanted to kick off this video today and just get this out there and allow you to just be able to watch it with a third eye view and just not be confused and in fear, and let your energy get harvested by these apex predators who need your prana, your Merkaba, your life force. It's just irrefutable what is taking place. We know Queen Elizabeth was tying us into that 36. She died in the 36th week of the year, and they're telling us she is to be replaced by King Charles the third, giving us that same 63, irrefutable, and he's giving us that 314. It's all coming back full circle. We teach this here, Ouroboros. So very important. I'm probably going to leave this video here. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope it enlightened you to what we've seen take place here recently in our realm, right before we head into the next Twin Tower anniversary, giving us that same 96, you guys. So remember what we're seeing take place, and what time it is in this very ritualistic time period. September is a very important month. This is also entering the fourth quarter of the year, the fiscal new year in October. A lot of things take place, especially during this 7-year sabbatical Shemitah cycle we are in. And the next event is going to be absolutely phenomenal to be able to prepare you all for. And I think it's going to be, we're really ramping up towards that aerial phenomenon event that will probably be said as an alien invasion, etc. But I just don't know what happens before then. Is Joe Biden the next batter change that we see replaced, etc.? Just getting you all ready. But take care, God bless, and pioneers rise. Become a divergent and glitch in this matrix. Take care, and God bless.